And now, my friends, it is time to bring in one friend. What time is it? I'm wearing his shirt. It is Carlos Correa time. Let's bring him in. Carlos, thank you so much for joining me, man.
No, bro, it's a pleasure. Thank you for having me. We go way back, so when you shoot me that text, I had to be on for my brother.
I appreciate that, man. Let's start with being a dad. One, what an off season for you. But first off, congratulations on being a dad. What has that been like?
That's been crazy, man. It's been surreal. It's been great. Throughout the whole free agency process, being able to be there with my son and spending time with him, and that extra time that I got because of the lockout, it was great. He's been growing, man. He's been growing fast. He's a little beast, man. He's like 17 pounds already, and he's only 4 months. I mean, the kid is big, so I'm excited. Hopefully, he wants to play baseball.
I think you got some. I think you got some added dad strength in you. By the way, you just hit a home run. The third deck in Minnesota. I didn't know you. That's some pop right there. That's some dad strength pop.
You saw that, brother? You saw that? It was a good one. It was a good one for sure. I got it good. Yeah, it's been fun here playing in front of the fans here. They love baseball. We have a really good team, a winning team. So I'm excited about this year.
So let's start with this offseason. Obviously, you become a dad. That's a big part of it. But this was a massive, massive offseason for you. You become a free agent. You had spent your entire career in Houston, 6 years in the big leagues at that point in Houston, and then you become a free agent. In a nutshell, what was the emotions behind this offseason for you?
Yeah, it was definitely crazy. It was different because of the lockout. And after the lockout, there was not like enough time to like get negotiations going again. Teams were trying to figure out, their teams and all that. But at the same time, it was fun, man. It was fun to go through the process, talk to different teams and all that. And at the same time, it was a little less stressful because of my son. Like I told you, spent some time with him. I was able to, spend quality time in the off season, get the body ready. So it was great.
So when the entire world has tweet notifications on from Ken Rosenthal, Jeff Passan, Bob Nightingale, all those, and the world is freaking out, waiting for you, Carlos. You were the big piece this offseason to sign. What were you doing during that time? Like, did you have notifications on? Were you in contact with your agent? How were you doing during that time when everybody else was freaking out?
I was definitely in contact with my agent, but at the same time, I was trying to chill. I would go work out in the mornings, then I'll come back home later that day, spend time with Kylo, and then when he would go down, I'll watch some movies and spend some time with wifey. Maybe we'll grab dinner and have our parents take care of Kylo. So we had a normal off season. Besides the conversations with my agent and all that, it was pretty chill. So we were able to enjoy it because of her son. So it was great.
Ultimately, you end up signing with the Minnesota Twins. Why? Why was that the perfect fit for you?
Well, it's a place that I love to play. The contract structure obviously worked out for us. It's a place that I love playing at. I hit very well there, and when I talked to the team, they wanted to take that step forward into building a championship culture, a championship organization, and that was a challenge that I was very interested in. We Derek and Tad, they've done a great job of putting a team together so we can succeed. Our first series against the Mariners was a really good one. We lost two close games, and then we won the next two. I think our lineup is great. Our defense is great. Our pitching has done an outstanding job. So I'm excited about this year, man. The Minnesota Twins, we have a good team, and we're ready to compete.
There's a guy that you went 1-2 in the draft with there, Byron Buxton, who in my opinion is incredible, an MVP caliber of player, and you guys went back-to-back in your draft class years ago. Did that play a factor in going there, and what do you think about Byron Buxton?
Well, Byron is a guy that I respect a lot. Obviously, we go way back since 2012, then playing in the minor leagues against each other a lot. I get to see him grow as the person that he is today and the player that he is today. And, getting to watch him closely, when you talk about talent in the big leagues, I don't think there is anybody more talented than him. He's the fastest. He plays the best center fielder out there in the league. The last 2 years, when you look at his WRC plus, is through the roof. I think he leads the league since 2020 in WRC plus in the game he's played in. So when you talk about talent, that guy is the guy, and he's putting in the work. He's really focused this year. He's gonna stay on the field. He's taking care of his body very well. So MVP season for sure. I agree with you. He's an MVP caliber player, 100%.
I love when you talk about stats like that, WRC plus, and you're one of the guys that you've been doing it for a little while now, but metrics are going that way. Batting average to many is becoming a thing of the past. What stats do you look at when you're looking at a guy, when you're looking at yourself to see the production that is out there? What are some of your favorite stats? Because I've always loved, Carlos, listening to your interview and hear you talking about guys and their advanced metrics. It's awesome.
Yeah, for me, WRC plus, OPS plus, WOBA, those are the stats that are important in the game of baseball today. Obviously, I love defense also. So, I look at DRS, UCR, range factor, and all that also. But when we talk about offense, those stats are really important. Why? Because, back then we looked at average, we looked at home runs, RBIs, and they're cool, but the players that play hitter-friendly ballparks are obviously gonna have more home runs. They're gonna have a better batting average. That players that don't play in a hitter-friendly ballpark. Now, when you look at OPS plus, it takes the ballpark into consideration. So whatever the average OPS is at that ballpark, it takes all that into consideration. It tells you how really how much better the hitter is than the average. So for me, those are the stats that are really important.
Yeah, I believe you when you say defense is important to you as well. I saw a pretty sweet picture yesterday, Carlos, of you holding the gold glove and the platinum glove. For those that are unaware, the platinum glove is the best defender in baseball. Gold glove is the best defender at that position. Platinum is the best defender in baseball. How important, not the accolades, but how important is defense to you? And that was pretty awesome to see. So congrats on those 2 awards.
Thank you, brother. I really appreciate that. Defense is really important to me and to our team. That's something I preach wherever I go. If you play great defense, you have way better chance of winning ball games. Those extra outs can hurt you at the end of the game. So defense is key. And when we take practice like it's like game speed, right? We don't go through the motions. We try to make it as game speed as much as we can. And it's something I enjoy doing, man, making a cool play for your pitcher in a key situation. I mean, I get super hype. It's really important. It helps you win ball games. But at the same time, when you hit a home run, you help the team win. And, yeah, it's like a personal stat. But when you save a run, it's like also for the pitcher, right?
Yeah.
So you're doing something for your pitcher, for your teammates. So it's also great.
So what point was the Minnesota Twins real players this offseason? Obviously, this was almost like a 3-part offseason. There was before the lockout, there was the lockout, and then there was post-lockout. Were the Twins always a real possibility, a real player, or did that come along post-lockout?
Oh, the Twins were a real possibility that same day.
Oh, wow.
We had a conversation that day around noon, and then by 11 p.m., I was signing already. So things moved fast. They knew what I wanted from the moment we started talking. We worked it out. We had a Zoom call. We talked. And right away, 10, 11 hours maybe at most, the deal was done. So it was that day. We would never talked to the Twins before. That day, we had a conversation with them. That day, we made the decision.
That's really cool. I didn't know it happened that quick. So we heard a lot throughout the offseason of where you were going to go and what teams were super interested. And one of them that comes to mind is the New York Yankees. Everybody was saying, oh, it's the perfect fit. And then we hear recently Cashman come out and say there was never an offer. Carlos, is that true? Was there really never an offer from the New York Yankees at any point?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. There was never an offer. There were conversations, but never an offer.
All right. So was there let's see. I had heard a good bit pre-lockout that the Chicago Cubs were involved, and then Carlos, you had an agency switch. So I wanted to ask you about that. You switched to Scott Boras. What was the process of switching agents? And you obviously, there's a lot that goes on. You don't need to obviously throw anybody under the bus. But what was the process of switching agents like right in the middle of all of this?
Yeah, it was crazy. I think it was during the lockout or right before the lockout. I can't quite remember. But made the decision, switched over, started working with Scott. He knew what I wanted, and he got it done. I was looking after the lockout. There was no long terms out there. There was not enough time. So he knew what I wanted. I wanted some short term A, B opt outs and a team that wanted to win. And the Minnesota, when we talked to Minnesota, they offer all that and more. And I made the decision. It was pretty easy to make that decision at that point.
So the lockout really did affect your mindset from the deal that at least I thought you deserved. I've been a proponent of you getting 300 plus million ever since you became a free agent. I think you deserve that and more. But the lockout kind of shifted your mindset, and coming out of that, you said, I want a shorter deal, I want opt-outs, I want a high AV, and then go from there.
Yeah, the lockout was changed just the landscape of free agency this year, for sure. The Minnesota Twins, they really wanted me. They want to win. I'm here to help the team win. I'm excited to be a part of this organization. And, it was a first great series. So we're excited. We had a great spring. We're looking forward to a great season and, for a playoff run.
So I want to go back to your days with the Astros. You were there for a while, and I'm sure it will forever hold a place near and dear in your heart. What are some of when you look back on your years there and your time there, as a player or just as somebody living there, what are some of your fondest memories from playing in Houston and being a Houston Astro?
Well, the fondest memories, I would say, just spending time with the guys that I played with for, 6-7 years. When you talk about Tuve, Bregman, Julie, Lance, all the friendships and all the great relationships and the family culture that we built there. That's something that I will always take with me wherever I go. And also, all the coaches that I learned from and that made me a better player. I'm forever grateful of, our hitting coaches, Cintron, our infield coach, Joe Espada, that, helped me win that platinum glove and that gold glove this year with, hard work during spring training, during the regular season. His advices and everything. So, it's just a great organization from top to bottom. And I'm forever grateful of my time there.
I got to ask about this. I'm wearing the shirt that says, "What time is it?" And in the playoffs last year, you hit that home run and immediately did the celebration. Where did that come from?
It came out of nowhere, brother. I did it in the series against the White Sox, and then the guy told me, "Hey, whenever you do something cool, you gotta do that again. That's a cool Sally." And then when I hit the homer in, I think it was the 7th inning to give us the lead, it just popped up and it was spontaneous. I mean, I just did it right there. Next time I go to my locker after the game, I check Twitter. It's going viral. Everybody's talking about it. I'm like, oh my God, what did I just do? But I guess it was cool. So it was fun. It was fun times.
Yeah, and now fast forward a few months later, and you got somebody wearing the shirt with your celebration on it. So you mentioned a lot of the coaches.
I saw it was on the MLB The Show game, so that was pretty cool.
It is an MLB The Show. The new game just came out, MLB The Show 22, and that one. The first time I hit a home run with you in the game, it happened. I guess I hit like a no doubter, and it happened, and I was like, "This is sick." So something that was spontaneous comes out, and now it's in a video game. There's a lot of them in the game, by the way. What is one of your favorite home run celebrations, if you had one, whether it be in the league now or somebody from the past?
Oof, I had some good ones. I had Tommy Lawler as a coach, infield coach in the minor leagues, and I remember when he hit that homer back in the day that he flipped the bat all the way super high. And at the time, it was the most disrespectful thing to do, the old-timers. But he did it anyways. And he wasn't a guy that hit many homers. So for me, that's one of the coolest because, you get this skinny, small guy hitting a homer and then pimping it like he's Barry Bonds. I mean, that was pretty cool. And Tommy's a great guy, so I had a great time with him.
I mean, at the time, like you said, that was considered disrespectful. Now, in this day and age, it doesn't feel like it. The name of my show, Carlos, is Flippin Bats. Is Flippin Bats, is pitchers strutting around the mound, is all that stuff good for the game of baseball?
Absolutely, man. Absolutely, 100%. I mean, we're at a point right now that the game is only getting younger and younger and younger, right? And you want these young guys to have fun, right? That's the end of it. If you strike me out with the bases loaded and you want to scream and do whatever, that's fine. That's cool. You know, you struck me out. You earned that. And then if I take you deep with the bases loaded to win the game, you know, I can also celebrate with my team. It's not disrespect to the pitcher. It's more of a celebration with your teammates. It's the way I see it. Every time, you know, I put my hand on the ear or I did this my time celebration, you know, it's to celebrate with my teammates and have a good time and get the fans involved and, you know, react to those things. It's never to show off the picture or disrespect them in any way, shape, or form. So, you know, for me, it's important for the game to, you know, keep moving forward and let the players have fun, to let them have a good time, let them be themselves. Because the game is very young, and there's a lot of young talent coming up.
Who are some of those young players? Because it feels like now more than ever, there's so many young players, so many young guys playing with fun, playing with swag, flipping their bats and stuff. Who are some young players that you watch around the league that you just really enjoy watching?
Yeah, I enjoy watching Tatis a lot. I enjoy watching Vlad do his thing. I got to watch Julio Rodriguez this series, and the kid has some talent, man. That kid's gonna be special too. Bobby Witt, you know, I played against him on one of those spring training games that you played right before the season. We went to Kansas City. We played 2 exhibition games. Before the season, I got to see him make a couple of diving plays, and then, you know, he had like 3 barrels in one game, and I was like, wow, this kid's really good. And now I see him in the big leagues, you know, making a nice play at home plate and then hitting that double to win. You know, there's a lot of special players, and that's great for the game. You know, young players that are not getting holed up like some of us did. You know, because Super 2 status and arbitration and all that. You know, it's cool. It's cool that we get to see that fought for that throughout the CBA, and it's cool to see so many players getting called up right after spring training. So that's pretty cool.
3 barrels in a game. Carlos, I barely had 3 barrels in my entire career.
I saw one against your brother. I remember that one.
Yeah, I remember that one too. That was
a sensitive subject for him, so let's not talk about that.
I know. Last time I talked about it on social media, he blocked me for like a month and wouldn't talk to me on social media. You mentioned the new CBA and Super 2, and I was wondering this because we did see a lot of rookies come up this year. But in my opinion, this rookie class might go down as one of the greatest we've seen. So I was wondering, in my head, are we seeing a lot of these guys make the team because of the new CBA? Do we think that really made a difference, or were they just so talented that they were going to make opening day roster, whether this new CBA addressed that issue or not?
I think the new CBA helped. You know, there's some teams out there that are not ready to compete, and they're still calling out their prospects and starting their clock. So, you know, in the past, you would see teams that were not ready to compete, and they would just keep their prospects down until they're ready to invest and build a championship team. And that way they'll call them up and get to keep them for 6-7 years. So I think it definitely helped. You know, you look at the case of Bobby Witt getting called up without, you know, like the Chris Bryant treatment or, you know, me, I got called up weeks later just so I wouldn't make Super 2 and all that. And I think the new CBA helps a lot. So very happy for the young players. The game, like I said, the game's only getting younger. Yeah. So in the CBA, you know, we try to help those younger players.
Yeah, I think it immediately showed dividends. And I was worried because the first big name that we know of, O'Neal Cruz, we see at the end of spring training, he's hitting like 400 with a couple bombs and they send him down. And I'm like, oh, God, nobody's going to care at all. And then everybody that I thought would make it started making teams. Julio Rodriguez, Spencer Torkelson, Bobby Witt Jr. So I definitely think that certainly helped. So now you're in Minnesota, and you were just talking about with Houston a lot of the coaches and managers that you had that helped you along the way. You've had A.J. Hinch as a manager, you had Dusty Baker briefly as a manager, and now you have Rocco Baldelli. Talk about Rocco Baldelli a little bit and the manager that he is. And I know you've just gotten there and you're just getting used to him, but how has that been playing under him?
No, it's been great. I've gotten so lucky to play for great managers throughout my entire career. Like you said, AJ, amazing manager. Dusty, we all know the legend that he is. And now playing for Rocco, man, he's a great communicator. He's always there for us. I've had some great conversations with him. So I'm really excited to spend a full year playing for him. He's one of the good ones also. So I'm very excited to be part of his team.
Yeah. Speaking of AJ, I just remembered this. Early on in the offseason, that picture came out of you and AJ literally just grabbing lunch. Carlos, that's all it was. I know you guys are friends. I know you guys still talk, and I know you guys will always have a mutual respect. Was there any more to that lunch? Was there any of AJ trying to say, "Hey, come to Detroit, Carlos"?
It was a nice conversation that AJ and I had. AJ is a person that I respect a lot. I learned a lot from him. Going up as a rookie, having a manager like him to, help me gain the confidence that I needed to go out there and perform at the biggest stage. Definitely a guy that I respect a lot. So it was a nice, friendly breakfast, and we had some good conversations, but we just leave it at that.
Was it ultimately difficult, Carlos? I know when this season ended, and I know how Jim Crane feels about long-term deals, and he really just doesn't like to do it. So the writing was kind of on the wall that you'd end up being a free agent and moving on, and it seemed like that was going to happen. But was it difficult to ultimately make the decision to leave Houston?
It's always difficult, If it's not, then you don't care, right? So it's always difficult to make a decision, especially when you have a newborn and you're gonna make a decision where he's probably gonna end up growing up there and all that. But at the same time, we all players got to understand how the business works,
Yeah.
and sometimes you stay, sometimes you don't, and you got to learn how to move on at some point, right? So right now I'm a Minnesota Twin. I'm very happy where I am right now. I'm very excited with this team and this new season. And for me and my family, it's time to move on and focus on our new team and help build a championship culture here. And that's what we want to do here.
I feel like we're starting to see it more and more around baseball, and it's starting to become apparent to the public as well how business oriented the game of baseball is. I mean, Freddie Freeman is an Atlanta Brave for life, and they don't re-sign him. He moves on. Aaron Judge, very vocal about wanting to re-sign in New York, and that didn't get done. Anthony Rizzo comes out and says, "Hey, at the end of the day, this is a business, and us players, there's not a lot of loyalty. You got to get your money when you can, and you got to go somewhere that believes in you and you want to play in." And it seems like more and more that's becoming public of it is really, at the end of the day, a business.
Yeah, definitely. It's a business, and there can never be feelings involved, right?
Mm-hmm.
And in this business, I will always love the Houston Astros, the organization, Jim, James, everybody. And I also happen to understand the business and how it works. So, teams are going to do whatever they think is best for them. And, players got to go wherever they think they're going to be happy and they're going to be, they're going to be able to play great. So for me, it's just for us players understanding how the business works. And at the end of the day, no hard feelings. Just go out there, play your game, and play with passion, be happy, and help your team win.
I have a couple questions that I like to ask everybody, and one of them that I always enjoy, especially talking to guys that are the best of the best, would be, what is the greatest game that you have ever played in? And this is always fun because it can go back to Little League, it can be in the big leagues, it can be, for me in college, I had a 3-home run game one time. So for you,
Ooh.
yeah, had to throw that in there real quick, just a little. For you, in your life,
Little flex.
what is the greatest game that you can remember ever being a part of and playing in?
Ooh, damn, that's a tough one. I've had, oh. There's been some great games. Wow. I mean, when I hit a walk-off homer, for me, those are the best games, especially in the postseason. And I've been able to have two of them. So I'll say the one against the Yankees in 2019, Game 2, that was pretty special. Also, the one against Tampa Bay, that was really special. So I gotta say, those walk-off homers in the playoffs, they hit different, man. there's something else. So yeah, I gotta pick those.
Look, I don't want to take any credit for those, but both of those I was in attendance for. So I don't know if there's something going on. And every game that is your best, I'm a part of. I just need to come to a bunch of Minnesota Twins this year, Carlos.
Lovely. Send me your date of birth and your full name so I can book you a flight over here.
Okay, if you weren't a Major League Baseball player, what would you be?
Oof, I think my dad always tells me this. I think I would have been a lawyer. I like the back and forth. I like the arguments. I like proving a point. When it comes to baseball, when it comes to stats, when it comes to whatever, I've always liked that and enjoyed that. And I'm not the guy that will ever get mad, so I like to get into those type of arguments. So I think lawyer would have been a good profession for me. Also, I like school. I like school. I enjoy being in school. I enjoy, having good grades and studying for the SAT and all that. So I think it would have been cool. But I'm playing baseball, so I'm not gonna complain because I get to play baseball every day. It's a lot more fun to play baseball than to be reading papers all day.
It still comes out in your baseball life too. Somebody comes to you with a weak ass stat like batting average. You're like, let me tell you about WRC plus and WOBA, and you can get into an argument that way. It still works out for you.
Exactly. I have a lot of those arguments throughout the baseball season. There's people that batting average and people RBIs. Oh, he only had 90 RBIs. How can he win MVP with 90 RBIs? And I'm like, and that's where I go. And I enjoy those little arguments. Try to make it fun. Obviously, I don't want anybody getting mad at it or coming across like, it's. But I like to make it fun with my teammates. I talk to a lot of players around the league on the phone about the new analytics because we gotta be informed, right? The only way to get better is putting in the work, and also you gotta have the right information. So if you have the right information and you understand how important walks are and how important the barrel rate is at and all that stuff, then you can go out there and try to do those things, especially on the defensive side of things. So it's good to have that information.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like it's even more so becoming important because baseball can get very, like we said, it's a business, and these baseball players can be numbers on a piece of paper. So it's important to know those numbers so a team can't point at you and say, this is your batting average, this is your these are your RBIs. That's the extent of your production. And you can go to them and other players you talk to and say, well, actually, it's a little deeper than that, and here's my actual production. So I feel like even more so, that's becoming really important.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really important. And the more I talk to the guys I meet and all that, the more they like get it and they understand and they want to apply it in the game. So for me, as much talent as a lot of players have, some players don't have the right information. So with the right information comes a better season for each individual.
Yeah, you just mentioned MVP and what it takes to become that. One of my favorite players on the planet, Carlos, is Shohei Ohtani, and you got to play against him.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, you might have heard. You got to play against him last year close up when he was doing his thing. How cool was that? How awesome was it being on the field with him while he was doing what he was doing?
Yeah, it's fun to watch him, man. It's hard to not be a fan of what he's doing. And I know I said earlier that Byron is the most talented, and I'm talking about just position players. But when you put Shohei Ohtani into the equation, there hasn't been anybody as talented as him in the game. He can pitch, he can throw 100, he can run, he can beat you out on an infield single, he can hit a 500-foot bomb. I mean, he can walk, he can do it all. So it's hard not to be a fan. And on top of that, I mean, the pitching and the hitting and just staying healthy for a full season, win MVP. I mean, that's something that people is taking for granted. The guy's pitching, the guy's hitting, the guy's out there pretty much every single day, and he manages to take care of his body to stay healthy, put up MVP numbers, and he's here to do it again this year. I mean, it's impressive. I know a lot of people said, I was one of them, that when he signed and he said, "Oh, I'm gonna pitch and I'm gonna hit," I was like, "There's no way that anybody can do that." Like I play every day, right? I'm a shortstop.
Yeah.
You know, it's not the age, it's shortstop. It's a little different, but I play every day, and I know how tired you are after 4, 5, 6 games in a row, 9 innings, diving here, diving there. Trying to steal a bag, hitting, running first to home, all the stuff. And on top of that, pitching, when you look at the pitchers, they're icing their elbows after a start. They're sore the next day where they don't even throw. They can't even move. They're just getting treatment on their arms. I mean, this guy is pitching, and the next day he's hitting tanks. I mean, it doesn't get better than that. So it's definitely very impressive. Huge fan of him. Everybody in the league is a fan of him. Everybody in the league loves the guy. So, he's inspiring a lot of people too. Maybe there's a lot more that will want to do that.
Yeah.
But I think there will only be one Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah, I always say this because I did both in college. I was a pitcher and a hitter. And had I known, Carlos, that it was possible, I would have just continued to do it. I didn't throw 100. I threw like 88, and I didn't hit 50 bombs. I hit like 10. But still, if I knew it was possible, maybe I would have continued to do it. But I really do I think he is going to change the game of baseball. I think little kids can grow up and now have somebody to point to and say, well, I don't have to stop because Shohei Ohtani's doing it.
Exactly. Breaking barriers, right? It was impossible before him, right? I know Babe Ruth did it back in the day, and that was very cool. But in this modern era of baseball, being able to strike people out, throwing 100 with a nasty slider, and then hit tanks, win MVP, and all that. I mean, it's just special. So he's definitely inspiring a lot of people, and a lot of people will probably try to do that, but it's very tough. It's very tough to do. So even more kudos to him.
Carlos, I got a great idea for you. Now that it's happening, I know you throw 100 miles an hour across the infield, Carlos. You got a rocket for an arm. Get up there on the mound. Let's see what you can do. How does that sound?
I asked AJ. He said no. He said no chance. I asked Dusty. He called me crazy. I'm gonna ask Rocco, see what he thinks.
just keep asking somebody.
One inning.
All it takes is one yes.
1 inning.
All it takes is
We're
one
winning
person.
by a lot. Just bring me in. Try to get 3 outs. If I don't get him, you can bring the closer in, but at least 1 inning.
So offensively for you, in my opinion, and I hear people that will say David Ortiz. In my opinion, Carlos, you are one of the most clutch players in the history of this game. My question for you would be, what changes and how? Is it a mindset? Is it something you prepare for? What goes into preparing and coming up in the biggest moments of all time and coming through?
I think it's visualizing and just reading the game. We face these pitchers so many times, and you remember how they got you out. You remember how you got them. So it's just, for me, it's just visualizing and reading the game. And there's some spots that I just feel they're gonna throw this pitch, and I visualize this pitch before I step on the box and what I want to do with it. And then when I see it, when they throw it, it's just I just react with my approach and what I'm trying to do, and it just happens. The 2 homers that I've hit for walk-offs, I was visualizing that exact same pitch and doing that exact same thing. And when they threw the pitches, I was able to do it. The other walk-offs that I hit, I think I hit one against Chapman in 2017. At that point, I was just trying to strike approach, try to hit a line drive the other way, try to get a 2-way to third somehow. And, I happened to hit over the second baseman. But, it's all about visualizing and mentally being ready for that situation. That's
awesome, man. A lot of really good memories. So, one, thanks for being so clutch. It involved a lot of awesome memories for me as well. Carlos, thank you so much for joining me, man. This has been awesome. And I'm not just saying this. We go back a few years now, and you are genuinely one of the greatest guys in the game, and you're good people and a good friend of mine, on top of being a fantastic athlete. So thank you for joining me. You will forever be a friend of the show. You're welcome back on whenever. Kill it this year, man. I am so pumped to watch you. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you, brother. Anytime. I appreciate you. Hey, and watch out for a reliever rookie, Joe Duran, throwing at 102
I
with
saw
a
that.
banger. Nasty splinker. I mean, that guy is special, man. He's got special stuff. So, keep an eye out for that guy. He's nasty.
I saw that. 102 is the hardest pitch, I think, in Twins history in the StatCast era.
He's nasty. He's nasty. He's got 3 elite pitches, 3+ pitches.
All right.
He's very special.
All right, my friend. Thanks again. I really, really appreciate it, man.
Thank you, brother.
All right.
Great time.
See ya. Thanks for watching. If you love flipping bats, swinging 3-0, or just talking ball, join us. Call us at 213-537-9339 with your questions. We have a weekly guest, and we have a lot of fun, so hit that subscribe button.